Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, I think.
Absolutely.
How do we actually build deeper connections? In a world that often seems to prefer, well, the surface level.
It's so easy to just stay there, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
digitally connected maybe, but not really deeply. So yeah, this dive is about figuring out what it takes to go beyond that.
Exactly. And we've got some great source material today. An essay called 15 Little Ways to Deepen Your Relationship with Anyone. It offers a surprisingly, practical approach.
Right. It's not about the huge dramatic gestures. It focuses more on the smaller, sort of intentional things you can do.
Which I find really appealing.
Yeah.
So our goal here in this deep dive is basically to unpack these 15 points from the text. We want to find the useful bits, the actionable nuggets, and give you a kind of guide straight from this source on building those stronger, more meaningful relationships. Ready to explore what this essay says are the keys.
Let's get into it. I think understanding these little ways is really valuable right now.
Okay, let's kick things off. The essay's core idea is pretty compelling. Deepening relationships isn't always about, grand gestures or big dramatic moments. It's often found in these small, maybe overlooked little ways.
Yeah, the source argues that real connection often grows in the quieter moments, not just when everything's exciting.
Right. And it starts with a really specific one. Point one, spend a Sunday with them. Right. But it's picky about the kind of Sunday, not your busy Saturday night out.
Right.
But a slow Sunday morning. When you might be tired, maybe not looking your best, not feeling like you have to perform or entertain, just being.
Yeah, maybe hair's a mess, still in PJs, that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why that kind of Sunday? What's the difference?
Well, what the source seems to be getting at is the lack of performance. Saturday night, you're often on, right? Energetic, presenting a certain version of yourself.
Right.
But that slow Sunday morning, especially if you're tired or just lounging, you're showing up less polished, more vulnerable maybe, and just being together in that state without the pressure to entertain allows for a different kind of closeness.
So it's about presence, not presentation. That makes a lot of sense. And point two feels like it flows right from that comfort. Be comfortably silent.
Yes.
The essay talks about just letting silence happen naturally, like maybe on a long car ride.
This one's really interesting because usually silence feels awkward, right? Like you have to fill it.
Yeah.
But the source suggests that being okay in that silence with someone, that's actually a really intimate space. It means there's enough acceptance and trust that you don't need words constantly. Can you just relax and be without talking? That's the idea.
Wow, comfortable silence. I find that, it's a bit surprising, but I get it. It really speaks to a deep level of trust. Okay, so we've got comfortable presence, comfortable silence. Now, the source moves towards active support, and vulnerability comes up. Point three is call them when you're not okay. Actually taking them up on that offer. Hey, call me if you need anything. And just as crucial, being ready to be there for them when they call you.
This really hits on the two-way street of trust, doesn't it? It's one thing to say, I'm here for you, but it takes real trust to actually reach out when you're struggling.
That's hard to do sometimes.
It is. And then showing up reliably when they need you. That really cements the foundation. Vulnerability needs both sides giving and receiving that safety.
And that connects pretty directly to point four, which is hold space for them. The essay talks about this as giving your complete undivided attention.
Yeah.
Listening fully, like phone away, no multitasking, just focusing your energy on them.
In today's world, that kind of undivided attention, it's becoming rare. It's a real gift.
It really is.
So when the source says give your entire energy, it's about making that person feel genuinely seen, genuinely heard, not competing with your phone or anything else. That feels like a profound act of respect, It builds connection.
Definitely. Okay, so being present, comfortable silence, vulnerability, holding space. Now the source shifts a bit towards sharing your inner world more. Point five says talk about ideas, like what you believe, your theories about things, hopes for the future. Moving beyond just daily complaints or gossip.
This really gets past the surface stuff. Discussing ideas, beliefs, theories, you're basically revealing how you think, what you value, what you hope for, maybe even what you worry about.
Like showing them your mental blueprint.
Exactly. It's a much deeper level of sharing than just talking about your day.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And Point C offers a really tangible way to do that. Read each other's favorite books.
Ooh, I like this one.
Yeah. Trading those copies that are maybe underlined, dog-eared. Sharing something that the essay says opened your heart and fed your mind.
It's true. A favorite book often feels like it holds a little piece of you, doesn't it?
Totally.
It shows what moves you, what makes you think. Sharing it is like handing over a little artifact of your inner life, inviting them into something that shaped you. It's a quiet, kind of intimate way to share your viewpoint.
That's beautifully put. Okay, from sharing inner worlds, the essay then moves to shared action, creating things together. Point 7 is create something together.
Right.
Could be anything, really.
Yeah.
Building furniture, a small project, art, even just redecorating a room.
Working on something together towards a shared goal. It forces you to communicate, to collaborate, maybe solve problems together.
Yeah.
It builds that sense of teamwork, and you end up with these shared memories that are rooted in making something happen, not just experiencing something passively.
There's definitely a bond in shared effort. And then point 8 brings it down to the micro level, paying attention to the little things.
The details.
Yeah, knowing their pet peeves, their go-to coffee order, their favorite junk food. The essay says, make noticing these details intentional.
And that highlights the difference between just casually observing someone and actively noticing, because you care, right? Remembering those small things that others might miss, it sends a really clear message. I see you. I pay attention to you. It makes people feel valued for who they are in those little daily moments. It's powerful.
It feels incredibly caring, those small recognitions. Okay, point 9 is, well, it's a potentially big one, maybe challenging. Attend your respective religious spiritual service practices together.
Ooh, yeah. That requires openness.
Going to their church, maybe showing them how you meditate, asking why they believe what they do. The source calls this extraordinary for learning about someone and practicing lovingly coexisting.
This is a huge invitation into deep empathy, I think. You're literally stepping into a space that's fundamental to how they see the world, maybe even sacred to them.
Right.
It demands a lot of respect and openness, and it lets you see a core part of who they are, why they are that way. It's about building bridges, even across different beliefs.
It definitely requires vulnerability from everyone involved. Point 10 then shifts back to shared experiences, but simpler. Plan a short trip.
Yeah, doesn't have to be huge.
Right, even just a day trip somewhere nearby. Having something to look forward to and experience together.
These shared experiences, even quick ones, they build unique memories. Just between the two of you. They give you new things to talk about, maybe create some inside jokes. It's about building that shared history that's specific to your connection.
And it's a good reminder that it doesn't need to be some massive vacation.
Yeah.
Then point 11 is about integration. Integrate them in your other social circles.
Merging the worlds.
Yeah. Bringing them around your friends into different parts of your life, even if you're a bit nervous about how everyone will get along.
The essay calls it gathering separate parts of your life together. That feels significant. You're basically saying this person isn't just in this one box. They're becoming part of my whole life.
That takes some guts.
It does, but it shows real commitment to the relationship's importance.
Okay, nearly there. Point 12 feels foundational. Always showing up.
Consistency.
Yeah. Being there for the big-ish moments there. Art show, baby shower, graduation, even helping them move. Doing it because you genuinely care about their milestones and happiness.
The act of showing up is huge, but the source points to the reason. It's not just obligation. It's valuing their life enough to make it a priority in your own busy life.
Right.
It's showing through actions, your stuff matters to me.
Actions definitely speak loudly there. Okay, point 13 acknowledges reality. Planning heart-to-hearts.
Yes. Adulting makes spontaneous deep talks harder.
Totally. So sometimes you need to actually schedule it. The essay even suggests, like, a sleepover just to have time to talk late and chill in the morning.
This just highlights that you need to be intentional about depth. Life gets crowded. Deep talks need time and space, you know? So the essay is pretty realistic, saying sometimes you have to create that opportunity, not just wait for it.
So true. And point 14 goes deep into understanding origins, talking about your families and what it was like growing up.
The backstory.
Yeah, hear it, like the source says, the whole story, the reality, the not ready for company imperfect picture.
The idea here is you can't fully grasp someone without understanding their roots, the environment, the family dynamics, the stuff that shaped them early on.
Right.
Hearing that imperfect picture gives you crucial context for who they are now, their views, their quirks, maybe their vulnerabilities. It's about getting the truth of their foundation.
It really does help make sense of people. Okay, last one. Point 15. It brings it all back to authenticity. Being filterless.
Radical honesty?
Kind of, not feeling you have to constantly edit yourself or your opinions, presenting the whole of you, the truth of who you are. The essay argues people sense this genuineness, and it encourages them to be real too.
Yeah, authenticity, the way it's described here, it breeds mutual vulnerability. When you're willing to be your real, imperfect self,
Yeah,
it makes it safer for the other person to be their real, imperfect self, too. It just breaks down those walls, allows for deeper acceptance because you're connecting with the actual person, not some polished image.
that sounds, well, both really hard and maybe really freeing at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So if we pull all these 15 points from the essay together, the main message seems to be about what? Vulnerability, intentional time together, both active and quiet, really paying attention, and being radically authentic.
Yeah, it's basically a call for consistent, conscious effort, recognizing that depth doesn't just happen, it's built step by step through these kinds of actions.
Absolutely. So we've walked through these 15 suggestions from the essay on how to deepen relationships. But the real key, as the source points out, isn't just knowing the list.
Right, it's the intentional doing.
Exactly, applying these little ways.
They definitely ask for effort and vulnerability, but the potential payoff is huge.
For sure. So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on as we wrap this up. Thinking about these 15 little ways from the source of Sunday morning. Comfortable silence, calling when not okay, holding space, talking ideas, sharing books, creating together, noticing details, attending practices, the short trip, integrating friends, showing up, planning deep talks, sharing family history, being filterless, which one of those feels either the most intimidating or maybe the most appealing to you right now. And what might that tell you about your own relationship habits or what you're looking for? Maybe just focus on that one thing this week and see what happens.